Gold turkey. Oh no, it's too late. Too late. We're here. It's fine. We'll just cut this out. It's fine. Edit it in the editing room. It's fine. It's on the editing room
That's fine.
floor.
Just keep going.
It's fine. Hi. It's episode 191. We're so close to 200 people. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But you know what I'm more excited about? I'm excited because Chris's hair. He's got like a big old spike on his forehead. Chris, please explain. How do you get the Chris look? What do I need to do every morning?
You need to not. You need to wash your hair and then have a little dry, and then don't use a little brush.
Don't use a brush.
Don't use a brush.
Are you telling me to not use a brush?
Yeah.
You are a madman. Absolute madman. Welcome to Heroes of Handheld, the podcast which likes to discuss handheld gaming and sometimes just gaming in general. My name's Colin. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by Chris. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm looking forward to today's show.
It's going to be powerful fun. And if you think that we're rushing through anything, then you are just crazy because
you're wrong. You're wrong. You're a liar.
You're completely wrong. It's definitely really early. It's definitely all fun and games. But you know what? It's so good. I just want to talk about how I saw Ant-Man this past week.
What did you think?
It's all right. Wasn't great. It was okay.
The bit with the tank is sick.
The bit with the Thomas the Tank Engine was cool. The giant Thomas the Tank Engine was amazing. And that big battle they have at the end with all the kids' toys and in the carpet, that was cool as well. I thought the story, the characters weren't as fleshed out as other Marvel films, but it was still good. And I did like how we had what's his name, the Avenger with the wings, Falcon. Yeah. The Falcon. He was cool as well. And good to see. Is it Kate from Lost? Getting work. That's always good.
Yeah, Evangeline Lilly. I think she was in Lost. I didn't watch it.
I think we've discussed this before, but why have you not decided to go back and watch Lost? Lost is so good.
Because I've had other things to watch. I've had Bake Off to watch.
Are you actually on the Bake Off? Does it feel like you're cheating?
Yeah.
In fact, you're cheating on a loved one. Is that how it feels?
Colin, I was in the middle of watching yesterday's episode. Then I was like, 9 o'clock, best get online.
Oh God, I haven't watched this week's. Was that good?
I'm only up to the technical challenge.
But
the standard is amazing this year of bakers.
Yeah. What is the technical challenge this week? Please tell me.
I'm not giving it away. I won't spoil it. What
a tease. And actually, talking of other films and things, I watched The Hitman's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. I wouldn't bother. It's not great. And that's the end of my review. It's not that funny. Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds are both very funny actors. They have the ability to be very funny on screen, and their talents are spoiled. Can I just say, this has to be the first film that was done by Hollywood that is set partly in Coventry. I am not shitting you. There is an epic shootout in the streets of Coventry, and it's not really explained why they're in Coventry. They're just in Coventry. They just drive to Coventry, and then there's a bit of a shootout. Is the rest of
the film set in the UK, or is it?
Well, right. They're all the characters are based in the UK for some reason. But no, it's based in the Netherlands as well. That's where the end scene is. But it's very strange, like how it's a weird film. There are some funny bits, but yeah, I wouldn't bother. Anyway, that's all the great gaming content done. Chris, so I hear that after 30 years of dedicated service to his craft, a certain jolly old moustache-bearing mascot has decided to hang up his tool belt, hang up his spanners, and go down a new path and a new career.
Yeah, so everyone's losing their shit about this because this has come from the Japanese Nintendo site. Have got a profile of some of their Nintendo characters up. And on there, Kotaku did the research, or Kotaku did the research on this, and it now says that Mario isn't a plumber anymore. Because it now says he's sporty, whether it's tennis or baseball, soccer or car racing. Mario does anything cool. As a matter of fact, he also seemed to have worked as a plumber a long time ago.
Right.
I always thought he was still a plumber, and this was just like his side hustle.
Well, he's not really done anything with pipes in a while, has he? Oh, I guess he has actually in the games that have come out recently. But like,
he's going down the warp pipes, isn't he?
But what I don't understand is people are losing their shit, but I don't understand why. Because they're not saying he never was a plumber.
Yeah,
they're just saying he isn't one anymore.
anymore.
Well, that's fine. I am fine with that. I'm glad that he is finally pursuing other endeavors. I mean, what he should really consider being like a private agent or like a bodyguard himself. To be fair, because like he's always having to protect Princess Peach, but then to be fair, he's not very good, is he? Because she keeps getting kidnapped.
He's been a doctor before.
Yeah, he didn't do too well in that, did he? Because he's just matching 3 colors and hoping that would cure the disease, and it wasn't really doing very well. But he tried. So yeah, people losing their shit and. There's no reason to. Well, are people losing their shit? I can't help but think a lot of it's tongue in cheek, really.
Yeah, I think it's satire, isn't it? Like it's been so long since he was actually doing anything plumbery in a game.
Yeah,
and it's less and less. I think it's because at the start that was their way of like justifying the story. Like, oh, he's found this underground thing, and also don't forget in the films. I think in the films, but definitely in the TV show, he was a plumber, and that was how they got there. So maybe that's why we associate it with it.
Oh, okay. Well, it's all very interesting, but we still love Mario. And has any word on whether Luigi is still a plumber?
Well, I think he was a plumber's assistant. I don't think he was ever a plumber.
Oh, so maybe he's taken over the reins. Maybe he's the new head plumber.
Maybe. Ask him.
More to follow, I'm sure, in this breaking news story.
Yeah.
Chris, are we going to mention the fact that shitting in a window is not the best thing to do on your first date?
I'm right. So for those of you who haven't seen this is a news story going around about this bloke who published this thing online. He went on a date with a girl from Tinder. They went back to his house. She went to use the loo, went to do a poo, couldn't flush it down, so rolled it up in toilet paper and threw it out the window. And then was like, I need to get it. She told the date, like, oh, this is silly. We need to get it. Luckily, he found it hilarious. But she got stuck trying to retrieve the poo. And the fire brigade had to come and smash the window to get her out. So he crowdfunded for the window to get fixed. I tell you what, Colin. Right. Yes. It's been just over 24 hours. I'm already bloody sick of this news story.
Same. Yeah, I don't know if you had the same thing with your own work, but everyone was talking about this at my work today.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not that funny.
It is pretty funny, to be fair.
It's pretty funny yesterday. It wasn't that funny when it was like everyone on Facebook is, oh my God, I can't believe this story. Ha ha ha. Did she get a second date? Ha 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 ha.
The best part is the picture of her actually stuck. Basically, to explain a bit more, it's a double glazing window with a gap in between. So there's 2 panes of glass and a big gap in the middle, which is where the poo fell down. And like, there's a funny picture of her stuck between these 2 bits of glass, and that is worth seeing. If you've not seen it, definitely look at that picture because that is chuckle worthy. But yeah, probably not the best thing. Well, most girls don't even bother pooing when they're on a first date because they're too embarrassed to do that near a guy they like. So either she had something dodgy beforehand, or she wasn't really into the guy because she was happy to poo.
Well, I've been with Emma 2 years and I've still never pooed.
Yeah. Well, you've never pooed anyway. You're sort of like a weird reptile.
I'm like a worm.
Yeah, like a worm from an alien planet. It's found in a cabbage patch one day. Anyway, right, let's move on. So what else are we going to talk about? Oh, can I just quickly mention we reviewed 2 apps last week, and Chris, how are you finding Data Wing?
Well, Colin, I've barely touched Data Wing.
Tell me.
Because Fight List is the best game ever made for mobile.
Now, Chris has given me games to play in the past, and I've sort of just like shrugged them off and thought, oh, this is all right. I'm not lying when I say Fight List is pretty much taking over my whole life at the moment. I am obsessed with it. I get annoyed when people don't play their rounds quick enough, and I just start new games with random people from around the world. Honestly, it's become a bit of an obsession. The adverts are very annoying. The gameplay is very addicting. The only thing that's getting me a bit miffed is how, like, I know obviously there's only so many questions and they can have. I'm starting to get repeat ones now, which I sort of feel like I'm cheating a little bit because I'm just using answers, that I found out the first time.
Yeah, it's at its best. But so this is the game where you play against your friends or strangers and you get given a category and sort of 40, 50 seconds, and you have to put in the answers that are the correct but the least popular. So it's kind of like Pointless vibes. So either you can try and score loads of points by getting loads of really obvious ones, or you can spend a bit longer and harder thinking about difficult answers. But obviously then if you're wrong, you've used up more time, but you get more points for them. Me and Colin play a lot, and it's so addictive. And I think it's the most addictive because the categories seem to be new ones every day.
Yeah.
I remember when I started playing a week ago and I was getting the same things over and over, and now there's categories coming in, it's like, oh, I've not seen that before. And I know you just said you're getting repeats, but I purposefully only play with my friends now because I didn't like the fact I got repeats, and I found that if you play with randoms, it just comes up too fast.
Yeah, but how do you fill the void of the in-between moments when your friends aren't playing the game? How do you fill the?
Nudge them relentlessly.
Oh, I didn't even know you could. How do you nudge someone?
You have to, when you're on the main menu, if you click and try and swipe them to the left, it comes up with a nudge option or a resign option.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have some fun with that now. Good find.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's just very. It really scratches that itch, because if a round's not going well, it's only 40 seconds till the next one, and because you're pretty much always playing 2 rounds as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very satisfying experience.
Oh, I'm just playing a game at the moment. Oh, I've not had that one before. Human organs. That's a new one.
Tongue.
Oh, it's over, mate. Move on. It's over. Just like I have shown my girlfriend shown when I say I'm playing it, I tell her what the category is, and this bit of cheating, I guess. I ask her to give me some advice, but it's ones I have no idea about.
Yeah.
And like, because obviously she's actually downloaded it now, so she does get it. But before, when she didn't, she'd keep listing all these things to me, and I'd just say it's over. Game over. Just move on. Just move on. Once the round is over, you move on.
The other thing that's good about the game that is, I think, important to remember is that if you didn't enjoy a category, you can mark it as boring, and then you can suggest answers that were correct. But also, if you put in an answer that you know to be right, but they didn't accept, you can, when it comes up to the results screen, you can tap that answer and send it to them and be like, look, you missed this off your list.
Did you do that? We had one yesterday, Indian dishes. They didn't accept chicken korma. What's that about?
The curry range on there was poor. No Boona, no jalfrezi.
Yeah, jalfrezi was annoying. So I got like 2 points on that one. I was well pissed. But yeah, you're doing a lot better. I know. We'll move on. I know we're talking about this a bit too long, but honestly, I was really upset with myself. I actually was generally upset when the question was 2016 Disney films, and you effing beat me. I was so crushed.
Yeah, but there's loads we forgot, because I didn't even think about Pete's Dragon.
Oh yeah, I would never have got that. Would have been at least 2 points, surely. Pete's Dragon. No, I don't know. Maybe not. I can't believe I didn't get Finding Dory. That one was ridiculous. I forgot that one. Anyway, so yeah, definitely download Fight List. It's a lot of fun. Also,
and if you want to play with us, tweet us at Handheld Podcast, and we can try and arrange. Like, there must be a way. I think you can search for usernames and stuff, so we should do that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Definitely do that. One last thing on mobile. I saw a tweet from Telltale, and I'm just going to make sure this is correct.
They're giving away something for free, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it was iOS. The iOS version of the Batman Telltale game is free at the moment. I'm just going to double check that because I saw the tweet yesterday. But anyway, forgetting that for a second whilst I'm just having a look. I downloaded the Telltale Batman game on my phone, my iOS iPhone 7. And I've played a little bit of the first episode. I played it last night.
Great.
Played a lot better than I thought. I played literally the first scene. I won't spoil anything, but a major character who's very famous in Batman mythology is in it. But the combat is interesting, but it didn't feel like I was actually doing anything. Like I was swiping left, right, up, down.
Yeah, it's not very clear what ramifications your actions have. Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, have you played the ball? Have you played it all? I can't remember.
First 3, and yeah, I just found like there's so for a game that has this many action scenes, it's disappointing that you're like, even if you mess it up, it doesn't seem to make much difference.
No, yeah, that's what I'm noticing. But I'm going to keep with it, see where the story goes. And it looks very pretty as well. I like the art style in it. Anyway, right, let's move on. Chris, guess what? It's a new month. We're in September, so that means free games. If you're a member of PlayStation Plus. That's exciting, isn't it? Very exciting. So I've got the full list here for the PlayStation Plus free games for September. We've got PS4 games, we've got PS3, but the thing we all care about is the PlayStation Vita. So 2 games are going to be free to play if you are a subscriber. The first one, which I remember when this came out, and this was the butt of everyone's joke, Hateful Boyfriend.
Yeah, the pigeon fucker.
It literally is. Literally, you fuck a pigeon. Really with RPG. Well, it's a visual novel, isn't it? About pigeons and birds who make love to. It's very weird, but I'm sure it's a lot of fun. And the other game that's on that list, which I'm not too familiar with, is We Are Doomed. I'm just going to quickly Google this and see if I recognize it. Oh my god, it looks a bit like a game called Hypla used to be. Anyway, it looks like it's a fly, shooty, spacey, colourful game. So that's free as well. So you can play both of those on your PlayStation Vita, which is very, very cool. PS3, oh my god, they're spoiled. PlayStation 3 owners, you get Handball 16 and Truck Racer. Honestly, that is just...
Wow. Not even Handball 15, but Handball 16.
I know, that was where it hit its peak, I feel. Right, so that's your 3 games. Chris, just give me some news, just lay some news on my chest.
So I'm going to hit you with some Switch stuff. Two little things. First of all, is that the team behind Worms, Team 17, have confirmed that Worms will be coming to Nintendo Switch. They did this via a tweet with a little video embedded in it. And basically they said, you asked for it, now you want it. Worms Weapon of Mass Destruction is happening and it's heading to Nintendo Switch. I mean, it looks like the Worms you kind of know and love. How do you feel about Worms, Colin? Do you like it as a game?
I played quite a lot on PS1. Haven't played a lot of it recently. I remember I used to like the banana bomb. That was fun. We'd throw it and it'd be little mini bombs and it'd like destroy the whole landscape. But yeah, it's good. I didn't really play much of the 3D ones. Is it a 3D one that's coming?
No, it's the 2D one, which is the one.
The better one, yeah, definitely. Yeah, should be good. I think it'll be well suited on the Switch. To be fair,
yeah, I think it's really going to suit the Switch, and especially like if each player has a Joy-Con turned on their side or something. I really like Worms. I really appreciate the fact that it's very silly, but there is also like a decent strategy game in there.
Yeah, definitely. You have to. It's a bit of a physics based as well. You have to sort of plan
exactly.
where certain fall and what the ramifications are going to be. Like if you can get 2 worms at once, and if they're going to fall off the map. Yeah, it's a really cool game. That's really good.
I like it a lot. So that's heading to Switch. They're not saying when, but once we have released it, we'll let you know. The team behind Stardew Valley as well. We've been talking about the Nintendo Switch port for a while, and they have now confirmed on Twitter that the game has been submitted to Nintendo, which means that they have to, check it, test it, make sure it's ready and eligible to sell and all that stuff. Still in testing, no news yet. It's been submitted to Nintendo, so watch this space. Now, I've never played Stardew Valley, but my friend Lee has played it a lot on PlayStation, and he kind of compares it. I mean, one of our listening pals, I'm sure, will have played it as well. Compares it to kind of like Harvest Moon, this sort of tactical farming game, but with this kind of quirky indie sensibility to it. So I'm quite keen. I think this will eat up a lot of people's time on Switch.
Here's a look at the game that Stardew Valley meets Harry Potter. Weird. Look at the art style. Looks very cute. This reminds me of something. What does this remind me of? I don't know.
I don't know what it reminds me of.
I don't know. I'm looking at a picture here and the guy's dressed up as a corn. So there you go. You can't get any better than that. It's good though. I'm sure it'll be fun.
And the last bit of Switch news, which I'll give you now because I think it's quite interesting. Do you know Edge magazine, Colin?
I am big fan.
So Edge is a really long-running video game magazine, and they released this like a special, which is the list of the 100 greatest games of all time. I'm not going to list them for you, but if you go to nintendoeverything.com, we'll embed a link, and you can click that and read them all at your leisure, or you can buy the magazine, which is probably the thing to do. Do you want just the top 10?
Give me the top 10 right now.
There seems to be a lack of Vita games here. I'm just having a scroll.
What?
I can't see.
What?
That's
ridiculous.
But in the top 10, Resident Evil 4 at 10, Ocarina of Time at 9, Super Mario Galaxy 2 at 8, Tetris at 7, Half-Life 2 at 6, Bloodborne at 5, which is interesting, Last of Us at 4, Grand Theft Auto 5 at 3, Dark Souls at 2, and Edge Magazine are saying that the greatest game of all time, Colin.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a guess? Or have you read the article?
I'm looking at the article now.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, a bit surprised by that. I know it's supposed to be an amazing game, but
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of fair play because obviously, like that's the opinion that they've come to, and they've obviously debated this a lot amongst the editorial team and stuff. But like, I'm really surprised that it's the greatest game of all time. Last time I did a list of 2015. Dark Souls was the number one there. GTA 5, Last of Us, Bloodborne, Half-Life. The top 10 looks very similar, except for the fact that this time around they've just put Breath of the Wild at number one. I mean, it is a really good game, but there is a lot wrong. There is a lot wrong with it, and a lot of the stuff that's good about Breath of the Wild has been done better in other games as well. I mean, I would argue that a lot of what's really good about Breath of the Wild is also in Minecraft, and is potentially done better in Minecraft. So yeah, it's interesting. I would love to know like how long the discussion process is for this sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at I'm having a quick look through the list. Some game really surprising me. Dead Space is on here. The Sims 3 is on there. There are a few Vita-ish games. Tearaway's on here, number 80.
Oh, I didn't clock that. Thank you.
Good. Battlefield 4? Weird. It's some strange... And fair enough, Batman Arkham Knight is on here, but surely Arkham Asylum or Arkham City should be on this list rather than
Arkham Asylum is on there.
Arkham Asylum is on there.
Fairly high up, I think.
Oh, that's right then. Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, I was a bit confused why Arkham Knight was on there. That wasn't... Dishonored, yeah, that's a classic. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm just like... I agree that some of these games are a bit... when you say these are supposed to be the best games of all time, I don't know. I think there are a lot of games out there which inspired these games, which should potentially be seen as the best. Super Mario Galaxy, I forgot about that game. Oh, there you go. Minecraft's on there as well. Of course it is. Right. Mass Effect 2's on there as well. Very well deserved. Yeah, I guess Mass Effect 2 was the best one, wasn't it?
How's Andromeda? Are you still playing it?
Andromeda, honestly, if I had time, I would be playing it because I was really getting into it. I've got past the the clunky opening bit where they're introducing the characters. You've got the first mission that you have to do to set the scene. Really enjoying it. I was enjoying it, but I've not played it in a while. I've not played my Xbox in ages, to be fair. It makes me sad.
Speaking of, can I quickly interject? Because if we're talking about games that we kind of mini reviewy bit. I finished Uncharted: The Lost Legacy last night.
That's the full game, isn't it? With his daughter or someone who's related to them or something.
It's starring Chloe from Uncharted 2 and Eugene from Uncharted 4, and it's a kind of DLC that's ended up turning into this much longer experience. It's about 10 hours. I'll keep my thoughts to a separate podcast, but I really liked it. I'd really recommend it if you're an Uncharted fan. I think for my money, it's certainly one of the best ones. I'd say it's maybe the best or maybe the second best. I think the format is really suited to this kind of shorter, more intense story. And this game that stars these two women who don't get along at the start and by the end of it learn to respect and trust each other. Spoilers, I guess. Watching their friendship grow it's really beautiful. The writing is really kind of, it's not hammy or forced. It's just a really good relationship. I really like it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the poster, not the poster, the cover art for it, and the one at the front looks a lot like Tomb Raider.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk more about that in another week when we've got a bit more time, maybe, because I know you want to rush. Colin.
Yeah, I know these games, they always get good reviews on Uncharted games, don't they? But is it as good as Golden Abyss? Is it as good as that?
Well, what is?
Absolute classic where you had to hold your Vita above a light. That was honestly the best. Great gaming experience. The best.
Tell me about a game called Reverie.
Now, this is something that I was not made aware of, but this exploded onto the scene on the 4th, so a couple of days ago now. A lot of people talk about the Vita not getting any games and it being the death of the Vita. But turns out developers are still bringing their games to PlayStation Vita, and Easter Seasoft are going to be releasing their game Reverie, which has been developed by Rainbite Limited to Vita in early 2018. And for those of you who don't know what this is, it is an Earthbound and Legend of Zelda inspired action game. So I've not played either of those games, so I can't really comment. But the art style looks very similar to that Stardew Valley that you were talking about earlier.
You really wound me up, because in our Google Doc, initially you wrote Earthbound coming to PS Vita, and I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
But no, that's not. No, it's just an inspired. But it looks good. It looks fun.
What did I do wrong? Earthbound is coming to Vita.
Well, because no, it's not Earthbound. It's a game called Reverie. Earthbound is an old.
No, a game called Legend of Zelda is coming to Vita, inspired by Reverie.
Oh, okay. Good one.
Right, you're right. And the game's going to launch digitally via the PS Store, and as well as a physical limited edition sold exclusively at PlayAsia, which will feature English, Japanese, and traditional Chinese text. The physical limited edition will include the game, a game manual, a soundtrack CD, an individually numbered certificate. Great. A map and a collector's box. And there is a description here of the game via the developer. Let's quickly read through this so we get a better idea of the game. Reverie is an action-adventure game set on a fictional island in New Zealand, inspired by the legend of Maui. Or Maui. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And the giant fish, where the demigod himself fishes up the North Island with a powerful fish hook. I wonder where the inspiration came for this. You play as Ty, a young boy on summer holiday who must explore Toromi Island. With angry spirits threatening the safety of the island's inhabitants, Ty must venture through dangerous dungeons and across a variety of environments to put the spirits to rest. Like, now that sounds all really exciting. That's all well and good. And there is also a trailer which we'll put in the article as well. But looking at on this article from Gamatsu.com, there's like a photo at the top, which it's just obviously a screen cap from the game. And it looks like a Pokemon game. There's a boy standing in the garden, like one of the original Pokemon games. He's standing in the garden. There's a dog, there's a tree, and there's a pretty little house. But turns out it's about demigods and things like that. So very interesting. It's interesting that they decided to go with the demigod Maui. Especially so close to when we had Moana last year, but maybe that was done intentionally, maybe to get people.
Well, I wonder as well whether the team behind it might have people from the areas that kind of inspire and believe in the legends and the gods. So if they've got like a Polynesian team or something like that, they might be more across those myths.
Maybe, whatever the reason. It looks very interesting, and it's nice to have a game going to the PlayStation Vita. Right, that's all my news done. Have you got anything else for me, Chris?
Oh, I've just reading they're Hong Kong based, so maybe. Okay. Oh, hang on. Rainbow Limited is an independent game studio in Auckland, New Zealand. So there we go. So it's kind of there. It's myths and stuff from near their corner of the world, which is cool. Nice. 3DS news, just to kind of gently waft onto you. A new Etrian Odyssey game is on the way, but details are very, very scant. So this is from an interview with the Etrian Odyssey series director Shigeo Komori, celebrating the 10th anniversary of the series this year. I can't believe it's been 10 years. That's mad. So this is in an interview with Famitsu, and basically he's asking for people's he ran a survey and wanted to know what people wanted from future Etrian Odyssey games, what kind of aspects do people like, what don't people like, and because of the 10th anniversary coming up, they're just thinking a lot about the future. And basically what he said is, in order to meet the expectations of fans, I'd like to deliver a festival-like game that can be said to be another culmination of the series. That's the feeling I have, and I'm currently developing a new game. This is the last game in the series that will have a map to be drawn on the bottom screen of the 3DS. For specifics, I hope you can wait until the day we can officially announce it. That's from a Famitsu interview. So, details very scant, but if you're an Etrian Odyssey fan, there is more on the way. And my final bit of news, Colin, is that Shovel Knight is getting some brand new amiibo. Now, I love my Shovel Knight amiibo. I love Shovel Knight. I love my Shovel Knight amiibo. I think the design of those characters really suits this kind of smaller plastic feel. And the Shovel Knight Yacht Club Games team have announced a 3-pack is coming with the rest of the characters who have all had spin-off DLCs: Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, and King Knight. They're calling it the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove 3-pack. It's going to unlock in-game content, including armor sets, challenges, and companions, and will be compatible with the Switch, 3DS, and Wii U versions. Stay tuned, because no release date or anything like that announced yet. I've just been looking on Game, and you can't pre-order or anything yet. So
that's rubbish. Rubbish. You want to pre-order?
These will be really hard to get as well, because like anything like this, it's a bit more niche. When it comes to Amiibo, it sells like hotcakes.
I do fancy a hot cake. Be very nice.
Yeah, me too. But that's all my news. But we do have, Colin, load up the Gmails whilst I tell everyone listening at home about our new feature, Group Chat. So Group Chat, we want to hear more opinions from you guys at home. We see the stats. We know how many people download. We know you download and listen every week, and we're so grateful. Thank you for doing that. And we want you to feel more involved in the show. So every week on Group Chat, we are going to send a question out into the abyss, take your answers over the week, and then we'll have a little look and we'll answer ourselves. And then we'll all come back and just kind of think of it like a book club, but for kind of video game conversation. So last week, Colin, you'll remember, we asked you at home and we asked each other, what video game would you wipe your memory and replay for the first time? And we did have a response from a very loyal fan of the show, a really nice guy. Colin, do you want to read the email?
This is from our good friend. Are we still doing that thing where we don't actually say their social media?
Oh, I forgot about that.
But Guy,
nah, do it.
Yes, that's in the Delilah. My Delilah. My Delilah. That'll do. So, Chris, remind me, the question. What was the question from last week?
The question was, if you could wipe your memory and replay a video game again from the start, what would it be?
Well, this is the response from our good friend Delilah. I'm dying. There's so many games in my past that I've enjoyed, but the one I'd really love to go back to experience again is Red Dead Redemption. It took me quite a few attempts to get into it, but when I did, it just blew me away. I don't think any other game's ending has ever affected me as much as Red Dead's. Yeah, I cried, okay? There's no shame in crying at a video game, to be honest. I've cried many a time. Now, I've not completed Red Dead Redemption. I've only played a couple of hours of it, and very similar to our good pal here. I tried it the first time, which is actually the only time I tried Red Dead Redemption. I couldn't get into it. You know, it was such a big world, and it's all a bit overwhelming. I got to a bit where there was a house, and I got a horse, and I rode off somewhere, and it turns out I'd gone the wrong way, and then that was where I stopped. So I think you like Red Dead Redemption very much so.
Yeah, I almost picked Red Dead for mine, actually, because I like Bylar, I played the zombie expansion first, and I was like, I don't get it, I'm confused, don't know who these characters are, and then I put it off for ages, and then the actual game came out on PlayStation Plus, and I think I had a free summer, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a try. And it's staggering. And that game is filled with so many poignant moments. And also, I mean, it's really emotionally gripping. And I wish I hadn't known the ending before going in to play it, because I think if I didn't know the ending, I would find it like just overwhelmingly. I mean, it's tragic, but it's beautiful. It's great. I mean, it's a great response, and definitely a really good answer for this sort of question. Totally agree as well. Like, I would love to replay it for the first time, and I know Red Dead 2 comes next year, but I would love a HD, like a PS4 remake of the first one, just to whet the appetite first.
I've still got the original one, the Xbox 360 edition.
I think it's backwards compatible. I think it's
that's why I kept it, because I was hoping. I think it is now. So if I ever get like a point in my life when I'm unemployed, I might focus my whole life on it.
Is that likely? Are you like to be unemployed?
Yes, Chris. Yes, because I'm such a shit employee.
Well, you are pretty shit doing this podcast.
Yeah, no.
So Colin, time to launch. What we'll do is we'll launch this week's question. Take your responses on Twitter. Take you at Handheld Podcast. Email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. This feature won't work unless you get in touch at home. So.
Well, it would still work because we'd.
I know, but you know, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com, at Handheld Podcast. Colin,
This week's question
Launch
is...
the group chat.
This week's group chat is... Imagine the scene. You're on a desert island. You can only take one video game with you and one video game only. And this is obviously assuming that you've got the console that you play it on, you've got electricity to play, etc. Don't worry about those semantics. But you're on a desert island, you're on your own for, let's say, the rest of your life. You could only take one game with you and one game only. So that's the only game you'll be able to play for the rest of your life. What game do you choose? And I'm going to hand you over to Chris, who's going to give you the answer to that right now, in his opinion.
I thought, aren't we answering next week?
No, we're answering this week.
That make more sense. Why don't we answer? So then we should answer when everyone else answers.
Yeah, but that means we're not answering anything this week.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I texted you about earlier, and you agreed.
But doesn't it make more sense? Because else next week we're saying production meeting on air is the best. Because else next week we're like, here's last week's question, here's next week's question. Doesn't it make sense to just forward promote? Yeah,
but what are we doing this week then? Just repeat, and that's it, and that's the end. So answer this question.
Thanks for listening.
What's going on? So you're saying like next week is like the proper launch where we'll actually talk about it. And then next week we'll answer this question. Then we'll have another one prepared for the week after.
Yeah, exactly. And then then it's forward promoting, and then we're answering when our best pals listening answer as well. You see, so it's all community rather than them being a week behind. And then also, if they've got an answer that's similar to ours, I can just not use theirs.
Well, as you can tell, people, Chris runs this podcast with an iron fist. And
maybe you should make your text a bit clearer. Maybe you should spend more time clarifying your text and less time losing on fight list.
The only time I can text you is when I'm on the shitter. And I have to be quick, man. I have to be quick. Yeah, you're winning 4-0 in the car one. It's annoying me. How the hell did you think of so many bloody relatives? It's ridiculous. How did you find the time? Are you literally like, you must be the quickest at typing. It's ridiculous. Like, I thought I did quite a lot. And you've done double mine. You dick.
When you play a lot of fight list, Colin, you get to the point where you realise time not putting something in the box is time wasted. So you may as well just guess and hope they give you a point for it rather than think.
When it's question about countries and things, you're just like literally putting any country you think. And at least one,
and if it's boys' names beginning with I, just type gobbledygook because chances are it'll think you're going for Ian or something.
Yeah, it always corrected as something that was nowhere near what I was going for, which is great. It gives you like 3 points. Like one of them was like think of world currencies, and it came up with like the Nidian dollar or something, and I was trying to put the Caribbean dollar, and I got like 3 points for that. I thought that was pretty good. Anyway, right. That was a great end to the podcast, real strong. Let's get out of here because I think we're about to both collapse and just cry ourselves to sleep. So give us your thoughts. What game would you take on a desert island with you? What would it be? Tell us, email us. How can people contact us, Chris?
heroesofhandheld@gmail.com is the email. We'll take your long responses on there. We would love to hear from you. Please send us an email because I think this feature will be really lovely if we can get a good kind of back and forth going. At Handheld Podcast on Twitter. Facebook, you can search for Heroes of Handheld. You can find us on heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com where you can, comment on the article as well if you want to do that. We put all our links and stuff up there as well. It's kind of like it's almost like a blog of the week's biggest news, so you can read it over there. Colin's mobile number is 07. Good one. Yeah, that's it. At Handheld Podcast on Twitter. heroesofhandheld@gmail.com.
Oh my God, Chris is winning 4-0. Why do I even bother? Anyway, thank you for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week, same time, same place for more handheld gaming goodness.
I've just read your text again.
Yes.
I didn't realise you wanted to do our topic for next week this week because it wasn't very clear. Why would you do that? Because then we wouldn't have any responses from the listening pals for Desert Island Game.
Oh God, I'm so keen, I'm so frothy. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week. Bye.